Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kina ki uta, ki mā tātara ki tai. E he ake ana, te atakura, he tū, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei mauri ora. Morena everyone, and thank you for coming to the Policy and Planning Committee. What date is it today? October 10th. We just have a quorum, which is good, but it will mean that I'll have to lock the doors. No one will be able to leave until we're finished. So do remember that online, since the legislation changed, if you're online you don't count for quorum, you can vote, but if the room goes below 11 members, we will have to stop the meeting and start it again tomorrow or next week, or who knows. But right, we've got apologies, got absence from Councillor Fletcher and Councillor Stewart. Right, sorry. Councillor Stewart, they're away. We've got lateness from Mayor Brown on council business, and we've got lateness from Councillor Bartley. All those in favour? Oh, sorry, I need to move in second. I'll move. Councillor Ferry second. All those in favour? Aye. Any opposed? Right, we have attendance. We have to accept people by electronic link and their reasons. So we have Deputy Mayor, Deputy Chair, Councillor Dalton. She's unwell today, but she is coming in online. Councillor Darby is coming in online at some point, but he's at another council thing at the moment. Deputy Mayor Simpson, I think it's her first sick day ever. She is going to come and try and come in, but I know she's got a cold. And Councillor Walker's overseas as well, but is going to try and come in online. All those in favour? Sorry, I'm quite rusty. I'll move. Member Ashby's keen to second by the looks. All those in favour? Cool. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? No. Confirmation of the minutes. Could I have a mover? Yep. Councillor Henderson and Councillor Filipina second. All those in favour? Any opposed? No. Right, there are no petitions. Public input, there was a decline / possible postponement for Michael Fletch from Safertech around mobile connections, 5G and things. There is a discussion happening with John about where that fits. It is most likely government-related national policy statements, not council, but that discussion will go on and they may come to a future committee. There is no local board input, there is no extraordinary items, and we are going to move. Do we have to move precedence of business to move those items? No,
you just said chair.
Okay. Right, so we're just, and sorry, members, I should have let you know, but just moving item. Do we have them? Do we have the mana whenua members present? Sorry, Lara. Otherwise, we can carry on with the agenda. Oh, right, sorry. We're moving ahead of time. So we will move, Katarina has got her way, and we will move to item 8, Te Tara Kia Tāwhiri Progress Snapshot for 2024. We did move ahead a bit faster than expected. So Katarina and Nick, if you'd like to lead on this one. I know there's a presentation, but just because I've now moved the order around, it might take a couple minutes.
A te maari e koutou ngā mihi kia koutou ko Katarina Hau, ko takuho mahi a Nick, and we are here today to present you with essentially just an information update report. It outlines a snapshot of progress against Te Tara Kia Tāwhiri, Auckland's Climate Action Plan, and it is focused on Council's contribution towards that. You will see that there are key, not all, just key highlights of the things Council is contributing towards climate change and reducing emissions and being more resilient. And you will also know, given the decision making on the LTP, that those decisions are much more climate forward and climate positive every year, and there was a large amount of money, of course, committed through the current LTP, particularly $850 million towards space for water. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you very much. I'll move, and I think Councillor Dalton was keen to second that. Are there any questions on this item? Member Henare.
Kia ora. Thank you for the report. As we get closer to 2030 or 2050, can you pinpoint and clarify some of the risks for marae resilience?
Kia ora, Member Hinari. I think, the most common one we think about, of course, is around sea level rise and urupa, but also around emissions reduction. So a lot of marae are very keen in looking at solar, both for adaptation purposes. So when there are those kind of extreme events, marae are often a local hub. So they are looking to be more resilient also through the way they get power. There's lots of waste initiatives on marae also. When we're thinking about, say, mourning ceremonies, and we're thinking about the future of too much heat, then that's the impacts where marae might have to look at different ways of undertaking those activities. The same with events. So there are a range of factors that could affect marae. There is a 2021, it's a little bit old, but it is a risk impact adaptation report across Māori indicators, and it sets out a whole range of risks when they're likely to happen, how they affect marae and iwi hapu activities and what the adaptation strategies are. I'd be happy to send that to you.
Thank you, Member Henare. Councillor Turner.
Thank you. Just thinking back to when the Auditor General was here talking about how they're starting to develop policies for how we actually calculate our carbon reporting. Are we on line with that? Are we,
As you would have seen through the annual report that came to the Audit and Risk Committee, and we had volume floor, which is our regulatory required compliance document for the group climate-related disclosures. Part of that report is the Auckland Council entity GHG emissions. So that is verified by Toitu, so they help ask questions, make sure we've used the right emission factors. They make sure they look at have we entered the data correctly, and then Audit New Zealand audited our contribution this year, and so we like pass that audit.
what was that, Toitu?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Toitu.
Thank you.
They do a lot of local government emissions.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Are there any other questions? Oh, Councillor Henderson.
Hi, I'm wondering if I'm asking the right person, but I'll give it a crack. Thanks for the report, and it just paints quite a stark picture that we're really not on track to meet our climate goals. Is there a key move that you could recommend to maybe any kind of low-hanging fruit that we could do to try and get back on track as quickly as possible, if we've ever been on track? Do you have any sort of advice that we should be doing things a bit differently?
I suppose when we think about low-hanging fruit and emissions across the region, it is the things you were already trying to achieve. So, increased public transport, active modes, we were kind of really on track for that. And, new governments mean that sometimes we are not achieving what we might have thought. But, that's just for now. And I think the other key thing, and I think you were funding this, the number of resilience programs since the North Island extreme weather events. So a big difference is made by the Making Space for Water type initiatives, not just for our assets and infrastructure, but for our communities. And I think, that's a really critical aspect. The rest of it is about how we improve every day. So more solar running our pools, more of us making sure we hop on that bus instead of our car. Yeah.
Okay, really appreciate that. Thanks, Chair.
Kia ora, thanks, Councillor Henderson. I just have two questions. One around how do you think we could get through the annual plan and future LTPs a bit more of the business case around what both reduces our emissions, and I know this is to Councillor Turner's heart as well, what also would reduce cost. So there's quite a lot of things we do which might feel nice but cost more, but there might be other actions that actually do both, like when we're switching at our boilers and our pools. I know that's creating significant savings on emissions, but also cost. And if the government moves harder into the ETS, I imagine those those savings are going to pay off as well.
Yes, we agree. So as we're all maturing in our climate change and sustainability practice, you'll often hear we always talk about mitigation separately, adaptation separately, and sustainability and efficiency separately. But actually, given the large task ahead, financial constraints everyone is under, the future is really about what are those actions that help with adaptation, reduce emissions and reduce resource use, which means they're efficient and they reduce costs. So, an easy example of that is, of course, solar. Solar often achieves all three. So we did start a case and we are pursuing a case so we can be really clear about what initiatives we could do and what the emissions reduction is, what the contribution to adaptation is, and most importantly, what are the efficiencies to be made. And really we need to look at it in the return on investment and over what time period. So yes, we are starting that work for the next LTP.
And another question around the emissions around transport. So the census data shows that where we've had drops in public transport, it almost correlates with the kind of dramatic 12-20% rise in working from home in some of our local border areas. Is there any work being done on what working from home has done to reducing emissions, but also maybe what will happen with the changes through the RLTP? I know the transport team's working on it, but there has been a massive cut to walking and cycling and some public transport infrastructure. So what that will be doing to our targets or goals?
So in terms of working from home, so international literature indicates that working from home is one of the biggest single actions you can promote for emissions reduction. If you are just thinking about emissions reduction, there are other co-benefits, but also other co-negative impacts of that need to be considered as well. And I know that you've had a workshop on the impact of recent government decisions in terms of how that impacts active modes and public transport, and that you will be receiving advice and making decisions and options on the 24th of October. And I think that process really highlights the importance of public transport and active modes. So, you'll start to see that in this short term, maybe next 3-year cycle, we're not achieving as much as we thought. Yeah.
Kia ora, thank you. I'll just get you, unless there's any other questions. No, I'll just get you both to step back from the table. Thank you very much. Right, is there any debate on this one? Councillor Filipaina.
Just to say, kia ora, Kataraina, good to see you. Thank you, Chair.
Kia ora, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Dalton, Deputy Chair, you've got a comment?
Oh, just a comment. Yes, thank you, Chair. Just like Alf, just thank you so much to the staff. We set some pretty strong policies, and it's always a bit of a struggle when you can't achieve them because there's so many shifts in political decision making. But there's some really positives within this, really positive things happening within this report, and we should be heartened by it, even though we're way off our targets. We can see that. But, keep up the good fight, Kataraina and team. I'm really grateful to have you all there and everyone across our organisation that is taking us towards these goals. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Deputy Chair. Councillor Darby. No? Oh, there was an accident, maybe? Sorry. Just a brief comment from me. Yeah, just, there are some really good, exciting things in here. Obviously, the food scraps being 20,000 tonnes diverted from landfill, higher than we were expecting in that first year. Obviously, the 750,000 plants and native seedlings we planted mostly in our regional parks. I opened the New Zealand ARB conference yesterday, and there was good, positive response to the fact we are investing in, I think, 5,500 mature street trees and different things as well. There is a long road to go. We are focused and we're rolling out, I think we've got 40 frequent public transport routes now. We are increasing our public transport spread across the city, but it is a struggle with the funding constraints and the change of direction that we've been put under. So there is going to be a lot of work for us to do in this space to really reach those goals that we've promised Aucklanders and that they submitted in very high numbers in favour of us trying to achieve those. So, kia ora. All those in favour? Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. Right, we'll move on to item 9. We have the Southern Rural Strategy. Eva and Claire.
Yeah. Kia ora koutou. I did have some slides, Sandra. Yeah, we'll just proceed without Eva at this stage. Thank you.
Cool. Is Eva on her way, or?
She is.
We're fine to. I have changed around the order because we moved a bit faster at the beginning, so don't mind having just a quick break if Eva's wanting to speak to it. Is she coming across?
She is leading the project, but I can definitely present and take questions.
Okay, I'm happy to take a 5-minute because I think it's respectful to not make her run here and then we've missed out on the discussion. So
okay.
Just take a couple minutes.
Brilliant.
If you want to stretch your legs, members, thanks.